Hello, everyone. This is Sunil Sundaraj with NJVarsity.rivals.com. I'm happy to welcome in tonight Jaleel Taylor, defensive line coach at William Paterson University, and assistant women's basketball coach, uh, strength coach, recruiting coordinator at Jersey City University. Jaleel, thank you so much for taking some time out to speak with me tonight. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. I thank you guys for having me.
Hey, congrats, Julio, again on your success. I mean, I said on both fronts, but I definitely wanted to first talk about William Paterson University. Defensive line coach there, working under head coach Dustin Johnson. Defensive coordinator, Sean Williams. You got outside linebackers. I think Coach Vincent Coro. Um, can you just talk about you been? I think just wrapped up. I think was your third year there at William Paterson. Just what this time has meant to you. Said working. Said on the football team.
It's been a crazy year for far as football wise because we've never been in pads in the spring.
Yeah.
So for Division III, if anything, we're just in a jersey and shorts. So to transition into being shoulder pads, helmets, full gear, and actually getting ready to have a season, it was kind of different for the guys. I know it was different for the coaching staff because we flipped everything around. We had our spring ball in the fall,
Yeah.
and fall ball in the spring. But the guys never lost sight. We were hit with a lot of trials and tribulations. We were shut down a couple of times because of the pandemic. But the guys never lost sight. We didn't have a lot of guys. We didn't have like a full 100-man roster. Some student athletes decided to stay home, not come back because of the virus. But the ones that did come, they were there every day. They gave their hearts. And me juggling between that and William Paterson NJCU,
Yeah.
the D-line understood. I have a great upcoming coach. I want to give a shout out to Coach Mike. He's a great coach. He played quarterback for us for 3 years and wide receiver his senior year, and now this is his first year coaching with us. And when I couldn't be there, he took over and got the D line. It fell right back in line as if I was there. But it was a tough year, and for us to only have one game, but that game being such a big game, and it came down to being the NJAC championship for that.
Yeah.
The guys never lost sight. And they played their hearts out. We didn't come out. We lost to Montclair, but I was very, very pleased at what we seen on film. We knew they played hard at the game, but watching the film, it was like little minor mistakes. But if we wouldn't have made those minor mistakes, we definitely were in that game. The score may not have said so, but definitely. But we're bringing in a great recruiting class for next year, and it's exciting. It really is. Coach Johnson is doing a great job, and Coach Will, and that's my man. great defensive player.
Yeah, I mean, judging. I mean, as you said, you didn't have your full complement of players, but I mean, judging from what I could see on the roster, you guys are a young team. So I mean, this team is built, said for not only this upcoming year, but for the future as well, Coach Taylor.
Yes, definitely. We majority a freshman sophomore team. We have my defensive lineman. I'll give another shout out to Robbie Shoemaker. He didn't play last year due to a shoulder injury, but he's been itching to get back, and he's been a leader. I asked Robbie to put some muscle on. He did that. He never lost sight. Robbie has become such a performer, a quiet kid from his freshman year to now, junior year in the classroom, but a sophomore in the field. Just a great role model. And the freshmen that came in, they follow suit. They watch film with them. They're in the weight room, and they're handling. The most important part is they're doing what they have to do in the classroom. So that's a testament to just how we as a team and how Coach Johnson preaches education first, and also he sets them up for career management things as well for 4 years. Not just for football, but for the next 40 years of their life as well.
Yeah, it's an excellent point. I was going to ask you that, a little bit later, but the fact that it's being a student athlete, and of course, as you alluded to, these are very difficult times. Especially with the COVID-19 pandemic. Everything being remote. I mean, really not having that true sense of in-class learning. But can you talk about how this team has been able to again balance that out, Coach Taylor?
Yes, definitely. So just as if we were in person, we still do weekly reports for grades.
Mm-hmm.
We have our weekly meetings with the defensive line, and just as any other position coach, they do as well. And Coach Johnson and Coach Will, and also Coach Asardi, the three full-time head coaches on staff, they're on top of it. The guys they have to get back with us within the weekly report of what classes they're taking. Far as if they have a test that week, what are they doing to prepare for it? Do they need tutoring? Are they going to the writing center? So for the fact that it was virtual, are they emailing the virtual, the writing center? Are they emailing the tutors? What are you guys doing? We just, because of the pandemic, we can't, we can't fall short of anything. We need everybody to still be eligible, because the main reason why you're here is to graduate.
Yeah.
And the guys did a pretty good job on that. If not a pretty good job, maybe a little bit better virtually than they do in person. I don't want to give you any wrong numbers, but Coach Johnson definitely he gave a great kudos to the guys, because almost majority of the team was on Dean's list this year.
Oh,
So our
that's
team
outstanding.
really shot up. So that was awesome. That was an awesome point. So they handled the pandemic really good as far as virtual learning.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to ask you from your first year there on campus, on the team. I mean, what is this? I mean, can you just recall, that first year, what you were able to do, and then now how far you've come, here. I mean, I said that, wrapping up your third year at William Paterson.
Oh man, first year coming from being a high school coach, and being taught from Barris Grant at Hillside High School, who has a dominant program, and me being from Hillside, so that was a pleasure being with him. And also now coming into the college aspect, it was frightening at first, because even though I played college football, it was like, okay, I'm a college coach now. My first thing stepping in.
Yeah.
But Coach Johnson, it was his first year as a head coach, because he was previously defense coordinator at Stevenson University, and he came in and like, listen, we got to bring it together. We got to come together, and we got to teach these guys the right way, because maybe something, from what program standards, they weren't taught the right way from the past. But it was hard. I'm not going to lie. It was hard trying to change a program for kids that have been there prior to 3 years. So the seniors that didn't want to that program to change and follow suit and buy in on what we were trying to preach. So it was kind of hard at first, because I remember the first spring practice, or the first week of spring practice, we didn't touch a ball, because Coach Johnson made it a militant thing, for basically following directions. If we couldn't do stretching right together, we couldn't do mountain climbers together, we would start over. He held everybody accountable, including the position coaches. Everybody's accountable. If you don't see everybody doing the same thing, start it over. And guys will get pissed. They were like, Coach, but once again, Coach Johnson's very stern, very man, but he had a plan, and his plan worked. The guys are finally buying. Like I said, it's year 3 for all of us at William Paterson, and the guys understand now that if Coach Johnson says be outside or be on the field at 5:30, they know to be outside at 5:15. So they already have that drilled in their head. And so for the freshmen that come in, they follow suit. So it's a great thing.
Yeah, I think it's just building that culture, having that structure in place, Coach Taylor, which is so essential, to having, a winning program.
Definitely.
Hey, can you talk about how competitive the NJAC is? I mean, we're going to talk about the teams here in Jersey, but then of course out of state. I mean, I think we talk about Division III football. I think this is one of the best conferences. I think not only I think across the country, Coach Taylor.
Yes, definitely. The NJAC is one of the toughest conferences in Division III, if not, like you said, in the country. You have Wesley College, who is now they're shutting down, but they were a powerhouse for years. And they won the NJAC multiple times. And you have Southern Virginia, who had just left the conference, but it's very competitive. You have Christopher Newport in Virginia as well. So we compete, and that's just the out of state. But the in state, far as us and the Montclair states, the King University, the Rowan, the TCNJ, we're not. When we go to certain schools, you're looking to see maybe you think there'd be guys to be smaller, but TCNJ has about 6'3", 6'4" linemen. 200. So it's big time. And we try to prepare these guys. Like, listen, it doesn't matter what level you're at. These guys are coming to play. So, and that's the thing that we want William Paterson to understand, that the recruits that we're recruiting for William Paterson is, we're not going to take any more losses. That's us. We've had that too many times in the past, and we're looking to be not just a winning program, but a family-oriented program. That once that we created this winning culture, that if you have a family atmosphere, you'll continue to win, because we trust each other, we love each other, and we're going to continue to build.
I covered the program a couple of years ago, and I think what's so impressive is the facilities on campus. And you talk about, the football field, and then I think, players I mentioned, of course, so with the weight training, facilities. I mean, really, I mean, again, if you want to entice, players to come, and play for your program, you need to have, I said, top-notch, facilities. Can you just speak to that, Coach Taylor?
Sure, I think we have one of the best stadiums in NJAC. It's a two-tone turf field that's only maybe 4 to 5 years old. The guys have we have our actually we have our own set weight room that is just for us, and then we have the weight room that the guys can go to periodically whenever they need.
Mhm.
But the campus itself is a beautiful campus. It's on a hill, so you can see the mountains. But the weather is kind of cold when the breeze gets.
Yeah.
But definitely, it's a beautiful campus. We have a great training staff. Allison does a great job. We have a great equipment manager. Dave does a great job.
Yeah.
We and far as that goes, like that's like another thing I was saying about family.
Yeah.
Allison keeps us abreast of of injuries. This guy's just little things.
Yeah.
She's on top of it, and Dave's on top of everything. Far as equipment, if this helmet is loose or whatever the fact may be,
Yeah.
everybody's on it and everybody's accountable for themselves. It's just a great thing.
Yeah.
I love being there, and it's a fun environment. So from practices, and especially when game day is awesome. Because game day
Yeah.
we have our meeting in the morning. The guys have like a team breakfast, and from there it's just the kids go in the locker room, they blast the music. They're getting in tune. The coaches we're finishing up our little bit of game planning, and 1 o'clock, 12:30 sets is ready
Yeah.
for kickoff. Ready to go to war.
Yeah, no, terrific points you made, especially about the athletic training staff who are, I think, sometimes undervalued, for, I mean, all the behind the scenes work, you talk about those people are definitely, said, should be recognized and honored. You talk about, I mean, it really takes a village, again, I don't want to forget, of course, about the administration, athletic director. Can you, just talk about that, Coach Taylor, because I think they're just as, critical, I said, in this process.
Yeah, she's awesome. She was, and I don't say was because she just recently retired.
Mhm.
Retired this year, but she believed in us. And not many ads would do that.
Yeah.
Especially it was our first year and we didn't win a game, but she seen what we were doing. She definitely she believed in us. She came to every game, every home game that we had. She seen us in the war room and basically the coaching room. She believed in us, and also our assistant AD. Chris was right there with us as well. Her being a former athlete, she understood where we were coming from when we were trying to rebuild, and she sees where we're building a program now.
Yeah.
So definitely our athletic director and assistant athletic director, they've been a great leader, a leader and support system with us, and not saying that you have to win right away. They understand. And then the second season when we got the 2 wins, it was like a big thing because we beat teams that we haven't beaten in a while.
Mhm.
So that was a great thing.
I wanted to pivot, of course, to your time, before you came to William Patterson, you coached arena football for the New Jersey Devils, which were based in Trenton. And then, of course, Hillside High School from 2015 to 2017. The school won a state championship in 2017. Just how impactful those experiences were for you, and then, being able to, join, William Patterson, Coach Taylor.
Of course. So I can say literally with the New Jersey Devils, it was a quick stint, but I played 3 years of professional arena football myself.
Hmm.
My first year was with the ASI Panthers out in Reading, PA. My second year was with the Richmond Raiders out in Richmond, Virginia, and my last final year was in San Angelo, Texas, with the San Angelo Bandits. That taught me a lot about just the different types of football there are. And when you're called a pro, you're a pro.
Yeah.
Some of these guys have played in NFL at some point, some played overseas at some point. Some played at the top level of Division One, and it was a job. It literally was a job. But I wanted to coach at that level for a quick stint, just to give back to let those young guys know that if you want an opportunity to play in the CFL, overseas or NFL, it's possible from the AFL. So I've had my opportunity to actually be in a practice or in rookie mini camp with the Philadelphia Eagles coming out of college. That was a great opportunity for me. But and just giving back to those guys. It was our season got caught short because the team actually folded, unfortunately. But then moving on the hillside and having that opportunity to actually coach where I'm from, that was
It's just getting better. Yeah.
that it was a great thing. And the first being coached under Halim McNeil, he was the coach there for the year, and then he became the athletic director. And then Barris Grant took over, and he just took picked up the pieces where McNeil left off. And he came in, another headstrong guy, another determined guy. I know he's an Irvington guy, so they come. The Irvington football program is one for the books. And him and his older brother Darnell Grant are legends in high school football. But Grant came there and he taught me the game of football. I learned more from Barris Grant as far as the learning the game of football than I have ever, and in my years of coaching, because he actually taught me everything about every position. He said, if you want to be a head coach one day in high school football or anywhere, you need to know everything about it. You need to know how to run the offense and if you want to be a defensive coordinator, you got to know everything about that as well. So, he actually was detailed in that. And he gave me a great opportunity, because when I first came on, I was a freshman coach. And then literally my second year, he was like, all right, you're O-line, D-line, and I learned from Thomas Weaver as well, who was a great D-line guy. Thomas went to Villanova. So, I learned I was blessed to learn from a great hand of God, so, it's a blessing. Every opportunity I get, I'm a firm believer in Christ. So every opportunity I get, I give it back to Christ because he gave it to me. So I try to take full advantage of everything.
That's wonderful. But, you probably answered this, but I want to ask you, for you personally, what makes the game of football so special? And is, coaching as well.
So the game of football makes it special to me because basketball was my first love. And because I've always been told, you got a big body, you're a big kid. Everybody say you're a big kid, you got to play football. I didn't like football at first until my father, he was training me, and my father told me, like, listen, you have an advantage that you don't think you have. He said, because you're skilled at basketball and you move like a guard. He said, you have quick twitch muscle, and, you're very strong, and, just bring that aggression out. And I wasn't a really aggressive kid coming up. But my freshman year of high school football, that's when the aggression started, and I started to like it because I was actually hitting people. I'm like, free, it's legal. So, me getting to do that, and then I fell in love with it because of some of the people that I watched growing up, the LTs of the world, and then and I actually got to meet Ndamukong Suh, or my man Warren Sapp. I loved growing up watching him, so those people, that's why it became special to me. And also football, or not just football, but athletics period is a great thing on my father's side of the family. The Taylors and the Grahams and the Pretlows and the Greens, we have a long list of NFL guys, NBA guys. So, it just runs in the family. So that's what made it special, that I would have the opportunity to continue to tell a name.
That's great. I wanted to probably get your take on is that the technological advances, especially with, you talk about the players, with their highlight tapes with Huddle and, for the high school kids, but how about for the coaches? I'm sure that, there've been advances, made in that which, simplifies the process in terms of watching film. Can you just, describe that, Coach Taylor?
I'm glad you brought that up, and I'll say this. So I hope some recruits or student athletes watch this. Please, student athletes, when we're watching film, please make the highlight only 3 minutes. Unless you're sending us a full game film, it's just one game, and where we can watch and see how you act on the field and how you're acting on the sideline. Because we watch all of that. We watch, how you interact with your coaches. Because if you're going to come to our program, we want to know that your characteristics and how are you on the field and off the field as well. But as far as the highlight goes, you have no idea how many kids send me highlights that are like 10 minutes long. And I can tell you guys, like, I'm trying to, we recruit about, Coach Johnson says about 5 a day. So we do 5 a day, that's almost 30 a week, so it's like, well, if I'm watching 10-minute films, it's not, so please guys, 3 minutes, put your plays in there. It's a great thing. But having that advantage though, and not having it back then, I know when I was coming up, I couldn't send out a highlight tape. It was VHS and DVD. So definitely it's a great advantage, to get a early head start on recruiting some kids, because I know sometime right now I'm already recruiting some 2023s and 2022s. So, they already have the highlights out. So it's a great thing. Technology now, advancement is perfect for us right now.
That's great. Hey, I wanted to ask you, and I'm sure that this, comes into play that, you have a bachelor's degree in communications from King University. I mean, I think that's awesome. I had to ask you, I mean, of course, you're dealing with so many people on a daily basis, and then of course,
Mhm.
when you're coaching, I think that really does, just benefit you, especially these days, Coach Taylor.
Oh yeah, definitely. I take nothing for granted with that.
Yeah.
My goal actually was to be a broadcast journalist,
Yeah,
and
okay.
I started at the University of New Haven doing that, and
Yeah.
then I transferred to Kane to finish. But my mindset back then as a 19, 20, 21 year old was, I got to go to the NFL. I have to prove everybody wrong.
Yeah.
I have to make it from a D, even if I left a D2 and I'm going to a D3, I have to finish. I have to, prove everybody wrong. But that was the wrong mindset because
Yeah.
I was like, go play in the NFL for a couple of years, and then I'll be a broadcast journalist on ESPN somewhere.
Yeah.
My mindset was totally wrong, and I really, I thank God for my degree, but I'm not using it.
Yes.
I'm using it for in the sense of, I coach, so I communicate with people every day. So
Yeah.
that's a blessing. But I'm not in the newsroom where I said I wanted to be.
Yeah.
But you know, I found another love, another passion, which is coaching.
Yeah.
It's something that I want to do for the rest of my life. So definitely. But if I didn't learn certain things that I learned in the classroom, I wouldn't be able to even communicate the proper way. Just as me and you are talking right now. Yeah.
No, well said. I just have a couple more. Can't thank you enough for the time, Coach Taylor. Don't want to forget, you're, of course, wearing the NJCU. It said T-shirt there. It said you're the assistant women's basketball head coach there. Recruiting coordinator and strength coach, and of course, coming off got the Knights. First, said NJAC Conference Tournament Championship. Can you talk about what this past season was like for you and Coach Devaney, the rest of the coaching staff and players? Just an incredible moment for you guys.
Of course, it's still surreal in a
Yeah.
sense. It's really, really still surreal. To be a head coach in high school last year, I only had 1 year as a head coach at Hillside High School,
Mhm.
and to change that program around in 1 year, and then to find out that the program, the athletic or the how can I put the words, um, that basically the athletic the director and staff wanted to go a different direction. I had to let that go. But I thought maybe I should just stick with football. And literally, Coach Pat Devaney called me, and he said, "Jaleel, I love what you did at Hillside, and heard that you're not getting rehired. I want you to come be legendary with me." And that's how, like I said, I'm a big believer in Christ. So when he called, I'm like, this has to be God. So
Yeah.
him doing that for me, I was like, wow, I'm gonna take it. And when I took it, it was great. I fell right in. The coaching staff, the assistants that were already there, Coach Makira, Coach Justinia, and Coach Jordan, they welcomed me with open arms. And Coach Pat, he told me, like, listen, from day one, he was like, we're changing this program. He
Yeah.
was like, we already. He said, you're coming into a rebuilding program. Last year they went 13-14 and went to the playoffs for the first time in school history, and they lost in the second round of Montclair. And every day at the end of practice, he was like, if you want to be legendary, you got to do the little things right. If you want to be legendary, you have to do this. You have to do that. If you want to put a banner in this gym that has never been done before, you have to do everything correct. And, our team motto is one family, one vision, one mission. And the girls believe in that. They bought in, and literally it was day by day. And before our season started, we just understood that didn't matter if we had 2 games, we were going to go 2-0.
Yeah.
That was the goal. And for us to complete the mission, oh man, it was a beautiful thing. And to lose to Montclair 2 times in this small season that we had.
Yeah.
And people will say, well, this season really doesn't count, has an asterisk on it, but I'd rather be the team with the asterisk on it as a champion than anybody else. So we'll definitely take it. And the girls work so hard, literally. And Coach Pat is a great leader, one of the best leaders that I'm able to be under. So it was a great thing for us to go through everything that we went through. The girls stayed, steadfast. Of course, just how William Paterson, we got shut down at NJCU a couple of times as well, but they never lost sight. Those girls never lost sight. And kudos to Coach Pat winning Coach of the Year, and our freshman Damaris Rodriguez being freshman of the year as well. Rookie of the year. In Jack, all met and all region. That's just a testament of just the work ethic that she has, And, as Coach Pat is the leader, leading us. So it's a great thing.
Hey, you're juggling, many tasks, wearing many hats there. I mean, can you talk about it? I mean, you're able, in addition to being, of course, defensive lineman coach at William Paterson, but just talk about what here at Jersey City. I mean, how much you're, that you're, of course, tasked with, and that you have. Can you just speak to that, Coach Taylor?
Of course. With Coach Pat, he's very lenient, but he's very diligent as well. He tells me if he understands that he's been very open with me. He understands that I coach football,
Mhm.
and he's been very just understand I'm a family man as well. I have a 10-month-old, and a stepson,
Yeah.
but he has three boys of his own. Well, two now and one on the way. So
Mhm.
he's a family man as well. But he knows the passion and love that I have for basketball. And one thing we always connect on as far as recruits. If I have a recruit, I'll send it to him, and if he has a recruit, he'll send it to me. And he's more of a big brother. Definitely somebody that I've definitely learned from, and I'm learning from. Great opportunity, but I love being there. It's just as much as I love being at William Paterson. I love being in Jersey City, NJCU, and then my significant other is an alumni from there as well. So
Yeah.
for me being able to work at her, her alma mater is, she loves it.
Yeah.
So it all works out. But it's just a blessing. Like seriously, I can't take anything from it. I love everything about NJCU. I kind of wish that I went to NJCU in a sense sometimes when I'm there.
Yeah.
But it's just a great learning experience. Definitely from just excuse me. I definitely have to give a shout out to our athletic directors, Sean Tucker,
Yeah.
Jeff Jordan, and Danielle Beam. All three are awesome, awesome people. And they, when Coach Pat gave me an opportunity, and they got to get to know me as a person as well. It's just an awesome environment. It really
Yeah.
is.
No, it's just tremendous how I mean they just have the right people in the right place, especially with Sean Tucker, and then of course I mean to see what the job that Coach Devaney has done, here in a couple of years. I interviewed him, said when he was first taking over Jersey City, and just to see the rapid rise, I mean moving up the ladder and what he's been able to accomplish and top it off with a conference tournament championship is just phenomenal. You talked about family, Coach Taylor. Don't want to, leave them out. What they've meant to you as far as support. This is not easy. The jobs that you hold. I'm sure it takes a lot of time, and you're away from family. But just to have them, and then of course, as you said, sports runs deep in the family. So just this must be very special these times here.
Of course, it was a little disheartening when we couldn't have fans in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
My girl, she's always at every one of my games. She's never missed a game when I coached high school.
Mm.
She missed the game when I was at William Paterson. So us starting basketball season and not to be able to have fans, it was a little disheartening that you had to watch virtually. And having my newborn, it was like, okay, how are we going to work this out? But
Yeah.
she definitely kudos to her and allowing me to do two college sports.
Yeah.
It's a lot on her. She's a full-time teacher. She's a high school teacher at that, and high school kids can be a little rowdy at times. So,
Yeah.
I take nothing for granted for that because she puts in the time of not being a full-time teacher but also a full-time mom,
Yeah.
especially when I'm late. So definitely give a shout out to Catherine Martins. Love you, babe.
I know. I read that she's also coaching. Does she still coach softball as well?
Yeah.
Wow.
She's the head softball coach, and our schedule is
Yeah.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
literally, our schedule is literally hectic. Where thank God for our moms, our the moms. They're great. Her mom watches our son during the day. My mom watches our sons during the weekend.
That's
It's because we're always moving around.
Yeah.
But we have like I said, family. It takes a village to raise a
Yeah.
family and raise a kid, but raise children. And my 5-year-old who'll be 6-year-old, my stepson Nathan, he's I'm going to get him now starting involved in sports. So it's a beautiful thing starting to see that you can start to get your own
Yeah.
involved in sports as well now. But yeah, so definitely family is really big to me. Like I said, my father's side, definitely shout out to my mom as well because
Mhm.
my mom, even though she didn't play sports, my mother is very detailed in fitness. Oh my God. Like,
Mhm.
my mom was a person that I learned her, work ethic from her. That's where I got my work ethic from
Mhm.
because she would, as a single mom, she would go to work, come home, she would jog about 3 or 4 miles a day. come back and then put in a VHS tape of Tybo with Billy Blank to do a tape of that and cook dinner, get me ready for school the next day.
Yeah.
And for 5 days a week, she did that. And just to see her work ethic and,
Yeah.
the days when she was tired, and I know that I had a basketball or football. Sometimes I had a basketball and football game in the same day. And, the work ethic that she did, she really pushed. And I just thank my mom, Denise Jones, and my father, David Teller, for pushing me for all that they did, because my father was definitely the guy that made me jog from his house to Williamsfield and Elizabeth, which is about a 2-mile jog. I hated it, but it taught me, it taught me how to be, not just a man, but it taught me structure. So, my parents are my everythings. So definitely want to give a shout out to those guys as well.
That's fantastic. It's just it's really cool. Final question, Coach Taylor. I said I think you serve as a great role model here. Said for players and coaches, what your advice is for younger coaches. I mean, who want to break in here and have a sustainable future in coaching. I'm just wondering what you would offer to them. In terms of you have so much experience under your belt now.
And even though I've been now coaching college football and high school, and this my coaching years altogether, probably about 7-8 years now.
Yeah.
Have an open mind to learn. I'm still learning right now. I'm still feeding whatever I can learn from football, whatever I can learn from basketball. It's always something to learn. You can't know everything already. That's one thing that Coach Pat always tells me. You can't know everything already. He says he's still learning things as a head coach that and this is like a basketball guru. But just have an open mind and be willing to learn. You're putting this step in the door. Understand that if you want to coach college, anything in college, recruiting is 85% of the job. You have to drive to places. You have to call recruits. You have to stay on top and then be honest. Learn your university that you're working at. Know that the enrollment. Learn the majors. Learn the campus. So when the parents and the student athletes ask you these questions, you know what you're doing. You know what you're saying, and you're being honest with them, and you have your own relationship with that student athlete. That's what when I recruit. I'm open and I'm honest. I'm not going to, if they can't afford it, I'm going to, tell them like, listen, if it's not affordable, maybe you should try another option. But, just be open and honest, be ready to work. This is not a 9-to-5 job. It's a 24/7 job, but you have to love it. Love it and be patient, because sometimes you're stepping into a program that needs rebuilding. And I've been in 2 programs that have been in the rebuilding process, and just have fun. That's the last thing. Have fun with it. And that's really all advice that I can give right now.
Sounds good. Hey, Coach Taylor, the floor is yours. If there's anything you want to add, please feel free to do so.
For first and foremost, again, thank you for having me. This is a blessing and a great opportunity to do so. And thank you for hearing me out. And just to let people know that whatever dream you have is any small or big, it's achievable. If you would have met me 7 years ago when I was still playing arena football, I would have never thought that I'll be in this position right now. I wouldn't have thought in my mind I'll be a legend far as an NJAC champion. I wouldn't have thought I'll be a college football coach. So anything is possible as long as keep God first, and you have an open mind and you're honest with yourself and your peers, and you trust the people that have hired you, and it's just it's a great opportunity, a great thing. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do next year in the NJAC, far as at William Paterson and at NJCU. I mean, I'm very excited to see what both have, what we can do with both teams.
Sounds good. Hey, Coach Taylor, again, thank you so much for the opportunity. Keep up the great job at William Paterson and Jersey City University, and wish you all the best moving forward.
Thank you so much.